Hey guys, welcome to Somewhere in the Middle. I'm Nikki,
And I'm Angie.
and today we are looking at, is marriage still the ultimate goal? We are, somewhere in the middle of life, and we're looking at whether or not marriage should be, what we're aiming for at this age. Both of us are single, and basically single. And so, we're just wondering, are women our age still, trying to have that fairy tale ending?
Um, I guess sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just looking for date number two. Sometimes I'm looking for a committed one night stand, and sometimes I'm looking for somebody to spend the rest of my life with.
Basically, right, right. I know for me personally, I didn't really grow up, I think, like a lot of women, with marriage as the end all be all. For me personally, I never looked at it like I knew I would be married one day and that, have that beautiful gown and that beautiful day. I never grew up expecting that. So, um, for me, it's definitely not right now a must have in
Right.
life. But I'm wondering, for more people who grew up more traditionally, um, what are they feeling right now at this age if they're still single?
I think it kind of goes back to what you just said. You didn't see it growing up. I think what you see growing up is the foundation for what you want. My mom and dad were married. They were apart though. So I grew up thinking that you can still have a relationship with somebody even if you were apart. And I think depending on who you are and what you grew up witnessing kind of dictates what you may want. And then being as young as we are, it may also have an impact the previous relationships you've had and those experiences. Have you been married before? No. Did you have really bad relationships, really good relationships? Why are you single in your 40s? That has a lot to do with what you want next too.
Yeah, I think for me, I was married for a brief minute, and I think like a lot of my relationships, it had a bunch of positive merits, and so I think neither one of us wanted, went into the actual dating situation thinking we were going to be married, wanting to be married. I feel like it was really the furthest thing from either of our minds when we started dating. Um, and to be honest, once it was over, I had more of a respect for the institution of marriage than I had before I got married. Um, so I think I developed an understanding of why people are still, engaging in this antiquated institution. I mean, there are a lot of good qualities to it, but still, I still never said,
Right.
"Oh, I can't wait to be married again."
But I think that's one of the beautiful things, though. When you go into something not expecting anything, when you and your ex husband got together, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is the man I'm going to marry. I'm writing his last name down with mine, on a piece of paper. And then it just happened. And then as you got to know somebody, you like, I kind of want to wake up to you every morning for the next, 50 years. And I think that is what people should strive for. They should strive for the connection. And then when you have a connection with somebody, what grows from it is what you feed it, right? What you put into it. So if you meet somebody and it's like, man, I like you. But when you go out thinking like I'm looking for my husband, I'm at the bar looking, every dude you meet is a potential husband, you get them confused with people who are supposed to be temporary with permanent people. And then that's a lot of kissing, a lot of frogs looking for a prince. And I don't think you ever enjoy the moment. If every time you go out, you looking like, is that my husband? Is this the man I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with? When are you having fun? When are you hanging out with your homegirls, relaxing, enjoying life, making memories? You're not. You on a quest to be a Mrs. And some people will never find that moment.
Yeah, that is absolutely the truth. I think I've seen so many people so anxious for that day, that beautiful gown, that center of attention, that wonderful ring, that, and then they have that day, and then they got a whole marriage that they're not ready for, or that they're not fully understanding, what this is. I think I hate when people say, he makes me happy or she makes me
Mm.
happy, or, this is my happiness. First of all, I feel like as an adult, you you should limit, how much of your happiness you get from somebody else, I think.
Amen.
Um and I think happiness is just such a temporary state. It's not a permanent state. You're not going to be happy every day. That's why I hate when somebody asks me, are you happy? I'm like, I'm at peace. I'm fine. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I'm a bunch of things. But just walking around, I just don't think that's realistic. As, yes, there are things that make you happy. Yes. Somebody give me a nice gift. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm not going to carry that happiness into 24/7 and then be so devastated when that happiness is gone. I have been embroiled in, relationship drama, or even a relationship, problem or issue, and still been at peace inside. I mean, I might not be happy with you right now, but that doesn't mean I'm not at peace with the relationship. It's just that the relationship is going through something. It hasn't destroyed my peace. It
Right.
hasn't, made me feel hopeless in life. No, I'm just not happy in this situation at this moment. So I think happiness is I hate to say happiness is a childish expectation, but nobody's gonna make you happy for the rest of your life, like
Facts.
every moment. Those things come and go. Those things come in waves. You could be overcome with the emotional gratitude and feeling, and just wonderfulness of this relationship one day, and then 2 days later be looking
Right.
at this person like, oh, I'll be so glad when he go to work.
Right. Right.
I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not happy in your relationship. It just means that these things come and go. So,
Well, I mean, I always tell y'all about my past experiences. Many, many, many moons ago, I dated a guy, and baby, from the moment that he said, "Hey, what's up?" I knew I wanted him. He was my world. The sun rose and set on his head. There was nothing in the world I wouldn't do for him. I loved him. He was my entire existence. And of course, it ended because we're not together today. And when we broke up, I was devastated. I felt like the world had just been snatched from me. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe, because I had made this person my entire existence. And um I swore for God that I would never feel that way ever again. That's what started part of my, process, and, going to therapy, and, being more in tune with myself. But he made me happy. And I know we just talked about that people can't make you happy, but he made me happy. Oh, I loved him. Woo, I loved him. Loved him. But when he was gone, there was I had nothing. And then I realized how empty I was. All I had was him. He became my everything. I got rid of my friends. I didn't do any extracurricular activities. It was all about what he wanted and what his needs were. And as long as his needs were met, I was happy. And when I realized that was unrealistic, and that it was a it was a heartache waiting to happen, I had to realize, but for me, it took something to happen for me to realize, yo, this ain't how it's supposed to be. I shouldn't feel like this. You shouldn't make somebody your entire existence, because then once they're gone, what do you have to stand on? So I think about that when people say, somebody else, can't bring you happy. You have to be whole. You have to be your own human, your own individual. And then you get somebody who adds to it. And then together, y'all little lights just shine even brighter. But you got to have a light without that person. So,
absolutely. I could not have said that any better myself. I feel as though you graduated from my class of being a complete person. But yeah, that's absolutely correct. I think whenever we put too much of ourselves into somebody else, we risk losing that part of ourselves, and that's never good. I don't think that. I think what I've done is the exact opposite of that. I think I've always, and I'm not saying that's something I probably will change. I probably will always be this way, but I think that I've always gotten people who were good accessories to my life versus integral to
Mm-hmm.
my existence. I've never had somebody that was just integral to my existence. I've always had people who accentuated my life or made things easier for me or made, you know, made me feel better, I guess. I don't know. But I've always had people who served a purpose in my life versus somebody who I felt I needed in some way. And so I think possibly when people feel that they're just an accessory, maybe that's why they don't feel bad about leaving. I guess I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I
But I
think
know that
right. But I don't you
I've
wouldn't
never been devastated when somebody left.
right. But wouldn't you say that everybody served a purpose in your life, regardless of how big or small the role they played in your life, that there was a purpose for their existence?
Yeah, they definitely have had a purpose for sure. But it wasn't an absolute, need for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, while my ice maker drops ice.
It wouldn't be a somewhere in the middle show if it wasn't some background noise on your end.
You hear me? But yeah, I don't. I think I've always, and I think after not my last, I think after my last relationship was when I actually put that into those terms of he was an accessory to my life. He was not, it by no means integral to my functioning
Right.
at all. So I mean, I don't know. That's probably a trauma response in some way because I have never seen it turn out well when somebody makes another person make them complete.
Right.
You
It
know what I'm
doesn't.
saying?
It doesn't turn out well ever. Ever.
I don't know. Maybe it does, but I haven't seen that. You know,
Right.
I haven't. Even my aunt and my uncle, who they were together since she was 16, and when she passed on, they were still together. I still feel like she was an entire whole person. I
Right.
feel like not just her education and her ability to stand on 2 feet if she had to. She never had to. She had a husband who was a provider. But I feel like if she had to, she could have. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she was just complete. Whether she was with him, they were together. That she was doing her thing and he was doing his thing. You know. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we probably off topic,
I know. I know. Get
but
back. Damn.
I know I usually keep us on track, but yeah, I don't think that for me, I know that marriage is not, where I know I will end up. Now, if something happens and Lord see, see fit to bring somebody in my life that adds and contributes and blah 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 XYZ, fine, wonderful, great. I eat these words, but
Right.
I don't think it's you know where you just have to go
Right.
because
Right. I'm looking for a permanent connection. I want somebody who has the same values that I have, that want the same things. We've talked about it. Y'all know my list of requirements. It hasn't changed. And I'm looking for somebody, who fits into what my life has fit in. And don't get me wrong, I'm a little flexible. I expect them to be a little flexible, but I would like something long term, just until the day I die. No, not too long.
that brings me to one of the points of what are some of the positives, and a lot of people at our age, especially guys, I've heard say they want somebody to grow old with.
Right.
They want that person that's going to be there with them when they're older, when they're broken down, when they're sick. Now my issue with that is, it's almost like that serial monogamous, that person who just has to have that person with them, and I think everybody probably hasn't come to the point where they're like, okay, I'm probably gonna die alone. But I have, like, I've gotten there. And, it is what it is. I don't know what those days would be like. I may not, I may croak over tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm not going to be with somebody that's not, you know, adding to my life in the meantime until I get old and ready, So I just, any motivation of being married other than this person, I really don't want to see my life, the rest of it, without this person.
Mhm.
And our understanding and connection is so deep to the point where we're going to add value to each other's lives moving forward, not just them to me, but me to them as well. Any reason for it other than that, I feel like you're setting yourself up. I don't want to be alone. Okay, but sometimes it's worse stuff than being alone. You get hitched up to the wrong wagon, and then you drug down the mountain. Like, I was better walking by myself. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Um,
Right. No, I'm looking for that dual income household too. There are a lot of things that I want to do.
Woo! Now I wouldn't mind having some of that now.
There are a lot of financial goals that I'm trying to achieve. I spoke to y'all about, trying to close on a investment property up here. It would be nice to have a dual income to maybe accomplish that things, to leave, legacy for our children, for our grandchildren, to start creating some generational wealth. Well, right now my daughter only got $100. I'd like to leave her, maybe $200, few businesses, some properties. So I would love to have a dual income household. I think it allows us to accomplish a lot more of our financial dreams. And, we can go to the Maldives at the drop of a dime, things like that. Hop on a private jet. Wishful thinking. I know. Is that too much?
Okay. Yeah, those are definitely some things where if that's where your priorities lie, then, absolutely a two income household would definitely, make some of those things happen. So there are, and aside from that, if you have children or if you want children, obviously having a two-parent household, for most of us, we would think that would be ideal. So if you want to have kids, or if you have children, or and you're single, then maybe a two-parent household, So there are obviously merits to being married, in these days and times. But you mentioned something earlier regarding you wanted that connection with somebody long term. Now, would that have to look like a traditional marriage per se?
So,
Or would you be willing, if you had that connection with somebody, would you be willing to go a more non-traditional route?
well, it's interesting that you asked that question, Miss Nikki. So, I've been doing some research on polyamorous relationships and the poly lifestyle, and um, I wouldn't be opposed to non-traditional relationships. I read a quote one time on one of my websites and stuff that I follow to, for research purposes. And
Of course.
and it said the goal of polygamy is not for every man to have multiple wives. It was for every wife to have a husband. And I was like, oh, okay. And that resonated with me. So I'm not opposed to non-traditional formats, whether it's, life partner, not being married, whether it's, an open relationship, a polyamorous one. I think I'm at the point in my life where I'm willing to explore it. I can't say what I wouldn't do unless I tried it. So I know that the world we live in has a lot of challenges. There are a lot of obstacles, when it comes to finding love. And I've been there, done that. Maybe my future is, having two husbands or two wives, or, you know. three husbands and a wife. Maybe it don't work like that. But in my non-traditional imaginary relationship, it would. Inbox me.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I feel like anybody who I feel like anybody who, is just completely 1,000% against non-traditional relationships, not for you, but just for other people. You just don't want anybody to have a non-traditional relationship. I feel like you need to kind of look at the track record of your traditional setup. Like, it's not working for a lot of families, and unfortunately, what you see as a compromise, somebody else sees as heaven on earth. So yeah, I completely feel like whichever way it's working. I think if it's based on, for me, if it's based on honest communication and acceptance of the person that you're dealing with, then y'all can come up with whatever formula work for y'all
Right.
at the end of the day. Because when you try to set things up based on, well, this should be that way and that should be this way, then that human flexibility kind of goes out the window. I know I've definitely been in a situation where I felt trapped by what the confines of the relationship were supposed to be,
Mhm.
and I was not being, I wasn't satisfied in that situation. And I think that's another reason why, for me personally, I don't necessarily see that one-on-one, lifelong commitment, because
Mhm.
that's a lot of pressure for somebody. Um, because me personally, I'm gonna get what I need,
Right.
and hopefully we get what we need from each other. But if we ain't,
I'll welcome
I
you to
mean,
our
what
community.
am I do? Go without?
Come on over
No,
to our community over here. We welcome you in with open arms.
right? I'm telling you, let these kids grow up. It's over. Anything goes. I'm telling you, anything goes. But no, yeah, I think a lot of people, and I for one have been happy to see more people and their situations coming to light and opening up. What should be open up. I think relationships should be as varied as human beings.
Mm,
Personally,
I
I
agree.
feel like we all deserve to be who we're meant to be, and if it requires a non-traditional setup for that to make that happen, it is what it is.
Preach. Preach.
Anyway, so as we close out this topic, everybody should pretty much feel comfortable doing it however they want to do it. There's no right or wrong. We in pretty much the same way with every topic we discuss. Don't feel bad if what you want isn't what your mom and them had, or
Right.
your granny and them wants you to have.
Right.
If you're at peace with who you are as a person, growing old, in who you are, being yourself,
Right. I,
do that.
facts. And stop living for other people. Forget what they think. I want to use the other F word. What people think, because don't nobody have to live your life but you. As long as you're not, killing little kids or animals or, small pets, then hey. But you can't worry about what other people think. They ain't gotta live your life or deal with the consequences of their actions, of your actions. So
Yep. Live. If I could encourage you to do anything, I would encourage you to first, just like you said the other night at the cigar bar, do you know who you are?
mhm.
Understand who you are, and then live honestly with integrity in that. And don't let nobody encourage you to put that under a bushel. That's you. And shine in that. Live in integrity and in your own light with that. And you're gonna draw in people who respect you for that, and you're gonna allow people to then live in their own truth, in their own light, in their own integrity.
Amen.
And I don't think there's any other way to live personally.
Same. Okay. Same.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh, we keep forgetting to say like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.